5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Start. The court is now in session to hear the case of a contractual dispute between the plaintiff and the defendant. The plaintiff has filed a suit alleging breach of contract arising from the defendant's failure to deliver goods as agreed upon in a legally binding agreement executed half a year prior to this hearing. The plaintiff contends that the defendant was obligated to supply specified materials within a period of 30 days from the date of contract signing. The agreement clearly outlined the quantity, quality, and delivery schedule. It is asserted that the defendant did not fulfill the delivery obligation within the stipulated time, which caused the plaintiff substantial financial loss and disruption of business operations. The plaintiff's counsel submits that multiple attempts were made to communicate with the defendant regarding the delayed delivery. Notices were sent by registered post and electronic mail, none of which elicited a satisfactory response. The plaintiff further claims that the defendant's failure to deliver the goods in a timely manner constitutes a fundamental breach of contract. Conversely, the defendant refutes the allegations, stating that unforeseen circumstances, including supplier shortages and transportation issues, impeded the ability to deliver the goods on schedule. The defense submits that the defendant communicated these difficulties promptly and requested an extension of time to complete the delivery, which the plaintiff unreasonably refused. The defendant also claims that the plaintiff failed to mitigate losses and did not cooperate in finding alternative solutions to resolve the matter amicably. The defense argues that such conduct on the part of the plaintiff exacerbated the situation and contributed to the losses incurred. The court has examined the contract documents, correspondence between the parties, and additional evidence submitted by both sides. The contract explicitly stipulates that delivery must occur within 30 days and any request for extension must be formalized and agreed upon in writing by both parties. The evidence does not show any documented approval of an extension requested by the defendant. The plaintiff presented witnesses who testified about the operational impact caused by the delay. One witness, an operations manager, stated that the failure to receive the materials on time resulted in halted production lines, loss of contracts with third parties, and reputational damage. Another witness, an accounting expert, provided testimony on the calculation of financial losses attributed directly to the breach. On behalf of the defendant, a supply chain specialist testified regarding the external challenges that led to delays, such as global supply shortages and logistical disruptions beyond the defendant's control. The defense also called a transportation coordinator who detailed the efforts made to expedite delivery once the issues were resolved. Both legal counsels submitted closing arguments. The plaintiff's attorney emphasized the necessity of upholding contractual commitments to maintain trust and reliability in commercial relationships. The attorney requested the court to award damages to compensate for losses and to enforce specific performance to ensure the defendant completes the delivery as originally agreed. The defense counsel contended that exceptional circumstances justified the delay and urged the court to consider the principle of force majeure, which may excuse performance under certain conditions. The counsel further requested the dismissal of claims for damages on the grounds that the plaintiff did not take reasonable steps to lessen the impact of the delay. The court also considered relevant statutory provisions and precedent cases cited by both parties. The legal framework surrounding contract obligations, remedies for breach, and the application of force majeure clauses were analyzed in depth. After thorough review, the court finds that the defendant did not provide sufficient evidence to prove that the delay was beyond reasonable control or that an extension was formally granted. The court concludes that the defendant breached the contractual terms by failing to deliver the goods within the agreed time frame without proper justification. Regarding damages, the court finds that the plaintiff has demonstrated clear causation between the breach and the financial losses claimed. The losses are reasonable and directly linked to the failure of timely delivery. Therefore, the court awards monetary compensation to the plaintiff as specified in the claim. The court also orders that the defendant complete the delivery of the remaining goods within a specified period under supervision to ensure compliance. Failure to comply will result in further legal consequences. Both parties are reminded of their right to appeal the judgment within the statutory period. The court urges them to seek an amicable resolution, if possible, as ongoing litigation can be costly and time-consuming. The registry will prepare and dispatch certified copies of the judgment to the parties promptly. All future communications related to this matter must be directed through the court to maintain proper record-keeping and transparency. This concludes the hearing for the day. The court expresses appreciation for the professionalism demonstrated by all participants. The matter is adjourned until further notice. The court will now address any procedural issues raised before the conclusion of the case. The parties may submit any final motions or requests through the registry within the next 10 days. In preparation for the future hearings, the court now recommends that both parties maintain detailed documentation of all communications and actions taken to comply with the court's orders. This will facilitate efficient resolution of any disputes that may arise going forward. Furthermore, the court acknowledges the evolving nature of commercial relationships and encourages parties to consider alternative dispute resolution methods, such as mediation or arbitration, where appropriate. These methods often provide faster and less adversarial means to resolve conflicts. In closing, the court reiterates its commitment to upholding the rule of law and ensuring fair and equitable outcomes in all cases brought before it. The integrity of contractual agreements is fundamental to the stability of commerce and the protection of rights. The court thanks the legal counsels for their detailed submissions and the witnesses for their truthful testimony. All evidence has been recorded and preserved as part of the official case file. This completes the official record of today's proceedings. The court is adjourned. Stop.